tummy tucks, butt lifts.
Hello.
Hello. That has affected me in terms of what a woman should look like. I mean, it was always about looks right away for me.
What's your name?
I'm Dave.
I'm Lauren.
There's none of that included in this experiment.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. Yes, we're giving you guys a live about Love is Blind. Listen, I'm going to try and do every episode, or at least maybe bunch two together. But this, look, I can't lie to you. Season 8, episode 1, I can't lie to you, it's really good. Okay? In previous seasons, we were trauma dumped on. We were immediately thrown into trauma cycles. And it just wasn't pretty. I won't lie to you. We never really got anybody's story. But episode 1 on season 8 started really well. I won't lie to you. I've enjoyed the way they've started. Now, can I be very real with you? I think we need to break some of these people down. All right? We have David, who matched with Molly and also who's I'll be forgetting people's names, with Molly and Lauren, right? And we got two different styles of David, and I was a little bit concerned. I ain't gonna lie to you. I said, I'm not saying it's a red flag, but my flag just started going up a little bit. Just my antenna started going up a little bit. We had Joey, and we had also his connection with Monica. I really like Joey and Monica, I really like Monica and Joey. I like them. They were like people who were really down to earth, it seemed like. But it's only episode 1, of course, so we know that how it goes. Then we also had we had obviously the black couple. Finally, we have Brittnay and Devon. I'll show you these clips and the pictures in a minute, so you actually get to see them as well, so you know who I'm talking about, right? We had Devon, and we also had Brittnay, and I felt like at points Devon has two connections with Brittnay and Virginia. Virginia is a very beautiful woman. Brittnay is a very beautiful woman. Brittnay is my kind of type. Okay, she's voluptuous. She is curvy. She is brown skinned. Oh God, deliver me from this place. But I felt like she sometimes was just like almost like that competitive streak, and she doesn't realize it comes across. But he may be okay with it. You know what I mean? They both play basketball, so he may be okay with it. Then we also had Alex, who is Daniel, who is a 5'6" king, who is short, and is determined to overcome the shortness and find his queen. And he matches with someone called Taylor in the first episode. And I won't lie to you, it's good vibes so far. You know what I mean? Him and Taylor, good vibes. And there's a couple of things that we definitely will address in that space as well. We had another guy called Mason. Mason matched with Meg and Madison. And it was also quite interesting to see their connection in that space well. So look, we're gonna break some of these couples down. I will provide photos so you can actually see who we're talking about, and we will definitely be able to show you some clips so you can actually see what's going on in this episode if you haven't already watched it yet again. Those of you who have watched it and probably gone further, no spoilers. It's episode 1 and that's all we're talking about. Keep it as episode 1, yeah? Keep it as episode 1. Let's not go any deeper. Don't spoil it for the rest of us who are still watching, okay? And if you haven't watched episode 1, that's your business, because we're here. All right, cool. Let's get into this review for you. Before we do, make sure you do me a massive favor. You're liking, you're sharing, you are subscribing to the channel as well, okay? We love to have conversations on this channel and breach difficult subjects. Yesterday was an amazing time. We had a live on Married at First Sight. Great time. And sorry, tomorrow we'll be talking about Ready to Love. And on Sunday, we'll start our first live on Love is Blind from episode 1 to 6. So get your skates on if you haven't watched any of these episodes already. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. I'm going to start from the very beginning. I think it's easier to do that way. Okay, because then I can bring you guys in to the conversations as well. Okay, because we had Taylor and Dave, who I said Dave, but Taylor and is it Dave? I'll be forgetting people's names. Taylor and boy, why am I forgetting people's names? This is the hardest part about the job. The people's names. Taylor and Daniel. That's it. I knew it was a D. I just couldn't think about it. But I'll show you who they are so you can actually have a look at them as well. Okay, so let's have a look. This is Taylor and Daniel as well. They are a cute little couple as well, and they're quite interesting. So let's play a little bit of a clip so you can actually see who they are. Here we go.
Yeah, if I could just be a little bit like her, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, I think you're more like her than you realize.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed chatting with you.
I did too, Daniel.
You're the only girl that I've been on a knee for right now. So.
It's a great first start, I'll tell you.
All right, so Daniel and let's say Daniel and what do we call it? Her name? Sorry, Taylor. The interesting thing about them is that with Daniel and Taylor, there is a really nice, smooth, kind of warm kind of energy. Like neither of them are like rude or disrespectful. You don't see any bad traits from either of them. They just seem to be a really cute kind of couple who are starting to like each other. Now, the only thing I have with Daniel and Taylor is that she spoke about being an overthinker. And that's okay. Look, we all got to that space. We're all overthinkers. But that immediately started having me processing immediately. If she's an overthinker, usually it's because you don't trust your mode of thinking. You're trying to be almost perfect, which means there's something in your background that has made you reconsider, your actual voice and your decision making. So whenever you have somebody who actually begins to reconsider their voice and begins to overthink, I'm an overthinker. So I know this for me for sure, right? If you're somebody who's an overthinker, usually it's because you are trying to perfect your answer or perfect your decision, right? To a degree where you feel as confident as you can about your decision. The problem with that is it delays you. Okay, and the problem with that is, as you overthink, you actually you have what we say paralysis by analysis, right? So in that space, what I saw with Taylor was immediately somebody who is, if she's an overthinker, she's going to have to always try and make sure that she makes the right decision, and that means she might be a little bit critical. She might be, a little bit more sensitive when it comes to relationships. So actually, by the end of this episode, she lets him know that she is an overthinker, but she's not overthinking the relationship with Daniel right now. But right now is right now. And when there is no pressure on the relationship, you don't actually feel like you have to overthink. In the early stages of a relationship, most people are going to bring their representative and they are going to feel at their best. As someone described it, I think it was Tyus Gibson, she describes it as when your fear overcomes almost like when your fear overcomes your desire. So at the beginning of the relationship, your desire will allow you to easily bypass certain things, right? So like in the beginning, when you first show up, when you date somebody and in the beginning they're so good and they suddenly fall off. Some of us call it love bombing, but actually some of it also is because their fear has finally kicked in. And actually the realism of the decision that they're making is now kicking in. So when she said about the overthinking, I said, oh, hold on a minute now. The reason why she may not be overthinking right now is because there is no pressure on the relationship. They're still getting to know each other. She has options on the table. She doesn't have to commit right away now. She's opening herself up to him. But on the alternative side, it could be also too, as she said, that she's feeling more comfortable. She's feeling more better. She's feeling in a better space where she can actually explore this connection with Daniel in a way that doesn't make her frightened. So it could be either or right now. We're not going to make any full-on decisions, but I thought I should explain that perspective as well. Let's watch a little bit more, just a clip, just so you can remind yourselves on who Daniel and Taylor are. Now, of course, one thing I will say is that some of the men in this episode have been really, really good, actually. They are quite emotionally intelligent for what I've seen. For Daniel, he actually reassured her about the overthinking. He said to her, listen, look, hey, I got you. If you're going to be overthinking, don't be afraid to come and ask me questions. And so when someone's an overthinker, you do have to give them room and space to be able to know that this is a safe space, because a lot of people who overthink have not been able to trust their decision making and their thought process. And that's why they overthink. They're trying to be perfect. So there's space to make mistakes. This comes back to emotional safety. I speak a lot about this in the coaching that we do, but this is a part of that emotional safety. When someone feels emotionally safe, what they are going to do is that they're going to now begin to ease into being more confident. And that confidence will allow them to be able to stop the overthinking. The overthinking is coming from a fear of the rejection of making a decision that's wrong, and a fear of being wrong. And what that being wrong actually means about them. That means they're incompetent. They're not smart. They're not wise. And those particular thoughts and patterns are actually about their personhood rather than decisions that they're actually making. They're not splitting their behavior from their personhood. I know this quite well. You know, sometimes I don't like to not know because it feels I'm incompetent. And if I'm incompetent, then there's going to be rejection. So really and truly, the key part of that is there's a fear of rejection that precedeth everything. So the fear of rejection leads to the fear of the incompetence. And then the fear of the incompetence leads to the overthinking. Okay, so that's interesting. Now, what I'm going to say is we don't know just yet. I'm intrigued to find out what happens with Daniel and Taylor in the future, because Daniel's got his own issues when it comes to his height. He was bullied as well, when he was younger. And, so I'm intrigued to find out how this is going to impact him in the long run. If not now, a little bit later on. How will he be impacted? Will it become an insecurity? If he actually ends up meeting Taylor, will it become an issue? Will her beauty make him feel some type of way? We haven't got those answers just yet because it's still early. All right? So we have to be open to those particular perspectives that whilst it's still early, those are the thought processes he may have that later on. But for now, I feel like it's a good match. We don't see any real other connections for Taylor as of yet. So there isn't any real kind of competition that's coming in or split mindset that she may have. But they're both very humorous. They both love the family tradition. She wants the family dynamic and, to be in a close bonded family, because I don't think she herself doesn't have as much of a she herself has a good family unit, actually, I think she was describing, right? And then they bonded over Christmas and, having the ability to be lighthearted and fun. So, to be honest, it was seen, for me right now, it was a green flag right now. Just green flag, okay? All right? So, this was actually a really good match at the moment in terms of what was happening for them two. She definitely needs more emotional security. So I wonder again if that may play into behaviors later on. So we'll find out. We don't know yet, right? It's all speculation for a lot of the things. We don't actually 100% know as of yet, but it's intriguing to find out in the future how this will play out. Okay. So let's move on because there was more couples I want to break down as well. Let's go to Devon and Britney because this was an interesting aspect because I felt like, I wasn't sure how it was going to go. Just because when black folk get together, it doesn't mean they're going to like each other. You know what I mean? So let me get Devin and Britney and see your perspective, because he matched with both Britney and with Virginia, and I thought, it's pretty cool. So here we're gonna go. We're gonna just bring this up to the screen so you guys can see it. Okay, there we go. Let me change my banners as well. All right, so Devin and Brittnay. Okay, so what I found intriguing about Devin and Brittnay in their relationship dynamic was the fact that when it came to their relationship dynamic, I just felt a little bit like, and then maybe the show's doing it on purpose, maybe it's just me being hypersensitive. On two occasions, when they show Britney and Devon together, if you notice, the dialogue seems to be jokey or banter, but it's not that issue that I have. The banter always seems to be them in competition. And I said, I don't know. Whenever they show it like that, where banter always seems to be competition, and then being a black woman too, I was just like, I don't know if this is gonna go. I don't know if this is gonna go well. And I said, I wonder if they're setting us up a little bit here, right? That Devin was interested because they're both coming from a basketball background, okay? So he does coaching. He's a basketball coach for young girls in varsity. She coached D1 and played, I think, D1 too, right? Basketball. So immediately you're thinking to yourself, rotted, loving it, great. These people got the same kind of background. They're going to mesh well. But what I'm learning a bit more about men and women in terms of dynamics. When she said that, she plays D1, she played D1 and she coached D1, right? So she's like, oh, but I can potentially dunk on you. Yeah, it sounded kind of cute and funny, but then I had to ask myself the question, I wonder how he's also going to receive it. Is he going to receive it as banter deep down in the subconsciousness, not when he's talking to her physically and in the consciousness, because he can talk and say, oh yeah, it's funny, da 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 da, but what's deep down happening into him? And I said, I wonder if when he heard her say about, you know, she does D1, not because she does it at a high level or anything, I don't know what the levels are, so I don't even know, but rather in a sense of it became almost like a jokey competition. And I'll be honest with you, whilst men love the little joke a little bit here and there about the banter between who can beat who can do what, sometimes, and a lot of times, men get turned off by that. They don't want to compete. You know what I'm saying to you? We're not trying to compete. And that is a bro thing. And so as soon as she bantered about dunking on him, I said, oh, I wonder if this may go wrong. Now she did it as a joke. So again, I want to be very, very clear. I hope it goes well. But then he also replied later on when she spoke about her mac and her cheese. He said her mac and her cheese is wavy. Her mac and cheese is really, really good. So in that space, I said, okay, well, she said about her mac and cheese being really, really good. So potentially this isn't maybe a problem. They actually might get along. But again, like I said, the subconsciousness of a man and the consciousness of a man, two different things. And sometimes they be saying stuff, but then doing things differently. And I only say that because he has a second person who he's interested in, potentially. And it's Virginia. And Virginia is the opposite way. Okay? Virginia is the opposite way. Let me just put this here so you can actually see Virginia a little bit and discuss her as well. Let's look at Virginia. Okay. Now listen, Virginia's all types of fine. I can't even lie to you. Virginia's all types of fine. Let me not play with you. Virginia is all types of fine. Okay, that woman is a beautiful woman. But when they were discussing, they weren't talking about where they were going to compete. They were talking about their differences, yes, but not where they were going to compete. So when I heard the compete, I said, For Britney, I said, oh, Lord, I hope not. But when I heard him speaking with Virginia, right, she said, I'm in my own lane. I dance for in the NBA. You know, I did my thing. I danced in a group. And for me watching as a man, I was like, well, maybe in that space, this is actually a really good thing because it means that he's not going to compete with Virginia. He will find himself in a place where there is a good polarity. Because when men get together, we compete. Men don't want to compete with a woman. And a woman doesn't want a man to compete with a woman either. So that jokey banter, I'm going to compete with you, is for love and basketball. But the reality of life is a lot of us don't subscribe to that polarity. We want polarity. We want the differences. We don't want the person to compete with you. You don't want to say, I'm an artist, and I say, well, I can draw better than you. You don't want that person. You want somebody who actually admires and elevates you and says, wow, what a gift that you have. Amazing. I love that about you, right? So again, but it was a joke that Britney made and he made a joke back. So to be fair, I'm just keeping that fair. I'm just saying that once I start seeing that, I'm just uber sensitive now and aware of what may potentially take hold or take place. I start paying attention and seeing that, is this really, where we need to be in that space? So yeah, I saw that and that was interesting. Also, both the women, Britney and Virginia, are actually older. So Virginia is 33, Britney is 34. And if you don't know, he is 28. Okay? Now, both of these women said they're going to be okay with the age. When Virginia heard his age, she kind of, I don't want to say she mocked it, but when she was telling the ladies and then saying about, he was in my school, but like he was like 5 years after me. She kind of made it almost as if like, ooh. She said she was good with it, but it's kind of like, ugh. But then she made up and said, obviously, it's about maturity. And so did Britney. Now, my thing is, it's a 6-year gap between them and himself and the ladies. He told us that he's dated older women before. I said, He's dated older women. At 24, he dated a 30-year-old. Now, either he's very mature and before his time and he's an old soul, or we need to look a bit deeper into what it makes him want to date women that are older. Because 6 years is a large gap for a young man. Why at 24 would you want to date a 30-year-old? What do you have in common with them? You know what I'm saying to you? Now, it may be that, like I said, he might be a very mature individual. But just like we say with women, when they date older men, we say there's some kind of daddy issues here. some type of issues. My thing is, it potentially could be there's some mummy issues here that we haven't discussed yet because we didn't get much of his background to understand where he's coming from. We knew about his career and we knew about what he does, but I didn't remember much about his background per se, 100%. So that was something I was looking at. I was like, okay, well, we need a bit more information about his background to understand where he's coming from, because why is a young 28-year-old dating older women? You know what I'm saying to you? Right? But again, we were proved wrong with Miles and the young lady from a couple of seasons ago as well. So it's potential. I mean, she works in healthcare, and she says that many people kind of misjudge her a little bit in terms of the fact that because she's so pretty, and she's a pretty woman, I can't lie to you, she's a pretty woman, yeah? She is pretty, I can't lie to you. Like, she's top notch. She's top notch. Now, we always ask the man them why the man them on a show like this when they're good looking. We need to ask question, why is a lady who's good looking on the show? Because this woman is fine. Okay? She's fine. Yeah, all types of fine. And, she's successful in terms of career-wise, it seems. What's the problem? Because we ask a man them, if you that good looking, why are you on the show? We have to ask the lady, why is the lady on the show? She a looker. You know what I mean? Well accomplished. What's going on? But for me personally, like I said, I think what I heard from her especially is, that the dating that she's been doing hasn't necessarily been going well. People don't really, I guess people look at her beauty and kind of judge her based on her beauty rather than actually her actual job. Now, she mentioned about her job being a ministry or having ministry. So I wonder if she's a Christian, got that Christian background. That's going to be interesting. If her faith is going to play a role in the dynamics of the relationship between herself and maybe whoever else. I know Devon's a forerunner right now, but there's 5 other episodes and I haven't watched it. I'm sure she might have other connections alongside that as well. But that's what we're seeing right now in terms of that connection. So that's an immediate triangle. I don't know what's going to happen between Britney and Britney and our good sis Virginia, and what's going to happen in the future, because it may go wrong. It may be a friendship they get, or they may be at competitor's edge. We don't know. Depends what happens. But again, I'm asking that question. 28, 33, 34, age is not just a number for me. I feel it comes with certain experiences that many people haven't had. So we'll see. I don't want to, again, judge too early. I'm just kind of showing some of the things that I have seen early on as well. Okay, let's talk about another aspect as well. We can talk about Joey and Monica as well. Let's talk about Joey and Monica. They're another interesting couple. I actually like Joey and Monica. They just seem to be a natural fit right now. But again, episode 1, we don't know if he's going to have any other connections. He may have other connections and it could go left. So we have to kind of wait for it. Let me just get my little clip for you guys. Joey and Monica, here we go. All right, so Joey and Monica. Okay, episode 1, guys. By the way, so please, no one spoil anything. Okay, I know that we have the temptation. No one's saying anything yet, but just in case. Okay. So Joey and let me put my clip on. Sorry, Joey and Monica. Okay, their situation, right? It's really interesting with Joey and Monica. I'll tell you why. Because with Joey and Monica, Joey tells us that he's a golden retriever energy, right? He's somebody who had to stay at home because his mother and father went for a divorce. And as they went for a divorce, he stayed at home rather than going to a top college, or I should say university, for football, right? So he got put into a school, right, D1, to play football. But because his mother and father split, he wanted to make sure he was there for his sister. And I said immediately, that's parentification. The moment that a young boy or a young woman gives up their dreams of what they were doing to now go and look after the family, now you've put yourself in a particular situation. It's going to be very difficult. Now we have to think about that level of maturity that he's going to have to do that decision. But two, how does that play a role in future relationships? People that are often parentified believe that they're very mature, right? But where they don't realize is that they lose a lot of that playfulness. But now Joey hasn't lost that playfulness. He's very playful, I can't lie to you. But where they lose aspects of the playfulness, the creativity, they are afraid to make mistakes. They can be afraid to really embrace being free, right? Now I don't think that's Joey's problem at all here. But again, we are in the early stages. Wait till you get in deeper in that relationship, then we'll start seeing how the parentification affects somebody. And parentification essentially is when you are a young child and you are acting like a parent emotionally, physically, or financially. You can have all three. With Joey, he was all three. He had to emotionally support his mother. He then had to support his sister like a father did. And then had to take on financial burden to a point where, and well done to him, he bought his first house at 27. He has saved up, paid for his own college tuition. I think ended up paying for his sisters as well at the same time or whatever as well. And has set up a retirement fund for his mum. The guy is set, okay? Right? The guy is forward thinking. But what is that? Now that forward thinking is happening, can he really let himself go? Can he be okay with somebody who maybe not, who may not be on the same wavelength, who is not as far gone as he is right now? Because he's learned some things well ahead of time. That's the question I was asking myself. But I love Joey and Monica. I think they're really good. I love their energy. They bantered about country music and how they didn't like it and stuff. So he also as well let us know that he had lost a sister as well. I think he has like 3 sisters, but he lost one. And he's not the only one person. I think someone else has also lost a brother as well. So a lot of people have lost people in this show. Now, obviously, he lost his sister, but he's raised by his mum pretty much as well. So I said, okay, great. Now, how will Monica react to this situation? Because we didn't get to know as much about Monica because we got such a deep breakdown of Joey. We knew a bit about Monica in terms of her dad's from Chile. No, that was not even... I think her dad's from Chile, and she visited her dad in Chile as well, right? But they both connected on country music. They both love doing swing dancing. They have both big families. And so they that's the green flag. They love families. Okay? They love families. And... he was bantering about the sound of music and how he hated the musical, and how they both kind of sang, and him and Joey and Monica both started singing a song, and I was like, okay, this is great, And one thing he did really, really well, was when he started talking about his sister and that she passed away, he started talking about it and said, but I will go deeper a little bit later. I love that, right? Because I felt like he didn't go into a trauma space. Right? He didn't go into immediately dumping the trauma. He went to a place where he's like, okay, I can look, I have lost a sister, but I'm not going to go too deep into that. Let's keep it on this light note. Let's enjoy each other. Let's banter. Let's flow. Let's continue to have those conversations which are going to be enjoyable rather than going straight into the deep end. So I love how he did that as well. And I love how he portrayed that. Now, my only question is, what will happen in the relationship when the fears start happening, when the commitment has to happen? We know that he has been very forthright in terms of being very resourceful and dependent and playing a parent, basically, in that aspect as well. But he said he's very close to his dad. He said he remodels homes with his dad, as well. So I'm intrigued to find out what's going to happen. I'm intrigued to find out how him and Monica are gonna grow from here. Nothing red flag at this moment. It's just simple things to just kind of highlight, say, hey, that might be something. We'll see how it plays out. Like, how did he deal with the divorce? We know that obviously he became a parent, but then how did he deal with the actual wound? Has he dealt with it? Will that come up later on? Does he have a fear of abandonment? Does he make himself magnanimous and excitable at the very beginning, but then maybe gets moody later on? We don't know yet. So we're going to wait and see what happens when they get deeper in their connection. And that was what, so in episodes 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll find out more about these kind of couples and Joey and Monica as well. So shout out to them as well. Okay. Then there was obviously Lauren and Dave. This is the one that I'm going to talk about. Dave, Lauren, and Molly. The triangle between Dave, Lauren, and Lauren and Molly. Oh man, I'm a little bit concerned. Can't lie to you. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned, and I will play a clip so you guys can see. I'm just a little bit concerned. Okay, just a little bit. Hold on. I want to get a clip for you guys. All right, so Dave and Lauren, Lauren was just talking there as well, right? There's Dave, Lauren, and Molly. Okay, it's a love triangle. Now, Dave, when he introduced himself, everybody's question was, "What's wrong with you and why are you here?" Now, it was quite funny, but it's just dry humor, and it's quite early. When people don't know you, dry humor can get taken in the wrong way. But that wasn't my issue. My issue with David was that he has told us and then told other people how shallow he can be because he's a plastic surgeon. And because he's a plastic surgeon, he has seen women's bodies in such a way. And so therefore, for him, he has a very high standard when it comes to women and their looks, but he's trying to change that. But something was a little bit off for me. It wasn't just about the fact that he said that women and their looks. It's also the fact that he said his sister said to him that she was not happy about him going on to Love is Blind because none of the women are good enough for you. And I said, wait, how would his sister know who is and who is not good for him? Because you don't know what women are going to be on the show. So how would she know? And I said, is it a case that David comes from a very overly critical household? If that being the case, that's going to do two things. Maybe potentially he can end up becoming a narcissistic kind of behavior. But really and truly, what can happen is for him on his side is he can be actually masking his confidence, but really inside he's broken. And that kind of person, when they get you, when they get you in a relationship, if they are like that, where they are outwardly, I'm confident in this, but inside they're broken, then the instincts of their behavior can be that they actually can tear you down. Now, he hasn't done that, but there's something that happened. I want to just, if I can get you guys a clip. Something that happened that I was concerned about. He did say it was a joke, but it wasn't funny. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't. Let me see if I can find a clip for you guys. Okay. Okay, so now he said obviously he's been an absolute arse to women in his previous life, right? He's been an arse to women. But what he doesn't tell you, what we don't know is, how did he work on it? We don't know that. We just know that he said he's been a complete arse to women in the previous life when it comes to dating. But how did he work on it? We don't know. So we don't know if that has changed or not. And we don't know if he's using the show to change. Many people try to use a show to change rather than going to do the internal work, working on themselves and going, actually, this is something I need to change. We don't see that with him yet. And so right now, it could be that he's changed, or right now he's using a show to change. Let me see if I can get a clip. I want to see if I can get a clip of this. I want to see if I can get a clip, because the way he introduced himself to Lauren, it was interesting, I would say the least. Okay, all right. Okay, here we go. Listen to this. Now he was joking, but my problem with that is that dry humor is gotta be very, very careful with it. And I said, is that dry humor coming from a place though? Like he wanted to tell everybody he was doing OnlyFans, almost as if he was testing people to see what reaction he would get out of them. I think he might be afraid of rejection. I think he might literally be afraid of rejection, and those kind of jokes are a part of the testing. How are you gonna react? Oh, if you reject me, then I know you're not for me, right? But the joke was a little bit some way, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it maybe just didn't land the way I thought it would land. I mean, it was a joke. She kind of took it on well. But again, when he's obviously told us that he's been a dick in his past life, it's a bit like, so should you be making these kind of jokes? Do you get what I'm saying to you? Should you be making those kind of jokes? So yes, going back to, like I said, about his family, in that space, he has let us know that with his family, that his sister specifically can be a little bit critical in that space as well. So and so I was hoping that we don't get to see him negging anybody, you know what I mean? But his connection with Molly was really cool. And I'll show you Molly in a second or two, because they both came from a Catholic background. And she's a bit more of a interesting character. I think she's got some depth to her that we have to talk about. But with Lauren, she's super close to her family. She studies in school. She basically was a teacher at one point, but she's changed it now into, I guess, quote unquote, sales. She sells things to schools. And she believes that attraction can grow. Okay, as well, right? Now, I hope she don't believe that, because David don't believe that at all. So I hope she ain't gonna take that message to David. Sorry, not David. To David. He don't believe that. That boy don't believe that. Trust me, that boy do not believe that. So I hope she doesn't take that to David, because David does not believe attraction can grow. Once he's there, he's there. If he's not there, he's not there. Trust me, don't bank on it. Now, she has struggled in dating, she said, because she hasn't found the love that her father and her mother had, and she wants what they have. Okay, and so she wants to be a person who's loved by someone, cared by them in the same way that her father cares for her mother. Fair enough. So she said her brother is a strong contender for questioning people. You know, he wants to make sure that she got the best in her life, which is fine. She has protection around her. We love it. But what was interesting was when he said about not being he can read, but he can read but he can't comprehend very well. All right. No, not Jay saying to me about most men. No, I'm saying that she can grow in it, but does he believe that? If he doesn't fancy her, he doesn't fancy her. You know what I mean? That's what I meant. Sorry. I'm not saying that women can't grow in traction. Well, we've had a debate several times. But does he believe that? Now, going back onto David, he made a comment about not being able to read but not comprehend very well. And then she was like, don't worry, you know, I'm a 6th grade teacher. We can help you in that area. And I said, okay, hold on. I said, hold on. This might be a problem. He don't need mothering. Because it's, you know what I'm saying? You don't need mothering. His mother passed away 6 years ago, though. And he seems very, very close. He's got tattoos, 2 of them with his mother's signature, he said, right? But I said, he doesn't need mothering. I said, the fact that we're mothering him, I said, oh, we might have a problem here. Because if we start mothering, I said, aye. Now, it's not definitive that she was mothering, but the comment, I said, is it from a place of mothering that you're saying this line? And I said, he may like it, but he seems like the type that will definitely do you dirty when you mother him long term. Right? I'm just getting a sense of that. I'm not saying that's definite. It's just a sense and a feeling I have. You know what I'm saying to you? So when I heard that comment about I can help you as a 6th grade teacher, I said, that removes all the seduction. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like you're about to mother him. And I said, if you're going to do that, I wondered, I said, what does that mean about her? Is she so used to being... I said, what's the real story then with your parents then? Because why is it that you want to fall alignment into mothering, right? Because usually the background of somebody who likes a father or mother is that they had to mother or father themselves. So they carry that kind of energy because they've had to father and parent themselves from a very young age. So you carry that mother and father energy from young. So I said, I wonder if the story of her mother and father, if we're going to get more of it, and there might be more to it than what she's showing. You know, yes, she can be a sexy school teacher. She can be. I just don't want her to mother. You know what I'm saying too. So that was pretty cool. Now his connection with Molly, I think personally, I don't think it's better. I'm just concerned, and I can see it going a whole bunch of ways. Okay, but let me play a little clip so you can see who we're talking about. This is Devin and Molly. All right, so Molly and David, let me be honest with you, yeah? It sounds like Molly is a runner and a track star. She gonna run away when it gets hard. Molly told us, listen, she be having situationships, but situations will arise, but you gotta be smart about it. She said she has situations, but she hasn't settled down. And I said, yeah, she might have a fear of commitment. Maybe that's why she's having so many situations. Okay, now she's very interesting, and I'll tell you why. I think she's a hidden secret weapon. I'm going to tell you this now. This is my thought process. When I heard her talk, when you hear her talk about her life, you think to yourself that she's going to be submissive. She's going to be the one person that's going to allow him to, that he's going to lead, and she's going to be able just to be like, okay, whatever. But really and truly, she run things. Oh, no, Molly run things. And I'll tell you why. There was a conversation, two of them actually, where he was like, they were asking about tattoos. Okay, sorry, that was the second conversation. The first one was about sex. They spoke about sex, and he said, like, you know, what do you like, blah, 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 blah. And in the end, she kind of said, like, she likes a man to lead. But she said she likes him to lead, but then she's like, obviously, when I get comfortable, I want to lead. And she asked him, are you comfortable with that? And he said, yeah, of course, why not? And I said, You don't often hear people say that, you know what, I'll let you lead first. When I get comfortable, I'm going to lead. It tells me that when she's comfortable, she going to run you. Okay? This person here, she allows you to lead for the beginning, and then maybe when her fear kicks in, she leads. You get me? When commitment takes place, now she takes control in order to create emotional distance. Because if you've always been in situationships and you're trying to blame the other people, I'm like, well, if they're emotionally unavailable, so are you. And in that emotional unavailability, right? Maybe in that space, that's where your control is, because then they don't get to get close to you. You don't have to get close to them in a certain way. Now, that's my theory. I don't know. But what I'm hearing is when you say that you want him to lead, but then I'm going to take over, can I take over after? I said, Usually you hear someone say, well, I don't mind having a partnership or maybe a little back and forth or something. She was like, I'm going to take over. Now, the second conversation, which told me, okay, that she had clocked him and run him. Listen, you play with Molly at your own risk. I won't. Okay? Molly is the kind of person that you underestimate and you get finished by. I'm just being real. So when they asked about tattoos, okay, and he asked her, what tattoos do you have? Okay, and she said, I got a tattoo on my ass. And he asked, where's the tattoo at? And she said, oh, on the side of the leg. Okay, and then he was talking about the tattoo and how he likes tattoos on the ass. And then she basically let him know that, listen, you don't get girls. She's like, you didn't strike me as somebody who gets women. You didn't strike me as somebody who's seen many asses. And he said, oh yeah. And that's when I realized, wait, hold on. He gonna accept that and take that too? Oh, he about to be run. Oh, he's about to be run. Yeah, he's about to be run. Because when a girl can sit there and tell you, listen, it don't look like you got many asses yourself, right? You don't get many gal. She's letting you know she's clocked you and she knows that you're not the type. Right? Don't underestimate Molly because she looks like the pretty girl from next door that's like, oh, no. You're going to underestimate Molly and you're going to take Molly and you're going to be on a high. I'm telling you that now. I saw that and I said, wow, Molly, the fact that you clocked him and you sized him up, that's what she actually did. She ended up sizing him up, right? To say basically he don't get gal like that. You understand? Yeah, you don't strike me as a type that gets gal. That's what she said to him. You don't strike me as a type that gets gal. Finito. Fornito. I wonder if I can get that clip. If I can find it for you guys, I will. But she finished him differently with that comment. Like, someone said that to you. What'd you say after that, bro? You don't strike me as a type. I wonder if I can get a clip. Hold on. Oh, she said, she said, listen, I didn't get that vibe from you. I thought so. You ain't seen many asses. I said, oh no. But I think he might end up choosing her. Rather than Lauren. I think he gets a little vibe from Molly, and I think he's going to enjoy the vibe from Molly, if I'm honest with you. I think that vibe is going to be interesting. Okay, I'll leave them two alone and go to next ones. Obviously, with Dave and Molly also, they really do actually have really good conversations about their background. So with Dave and Molly, they talk a lot about their Catholic upbringing. And how they both were in that place of a Catholic school and stuff like that. So there's a lot of description around that and a lot of conversation around that, a lot of talk around their bond around that as well. So we'll see if there's a deeper connection later on as well, you know, to see if there's more to their situation. But she's never had a boyfriend, she said. Right? But she said, if I wanted one, I can have one. And I said, no, if you wanted one, you would have had one. When anybody tells you, if I wanted to have a boyfriend, I could have had one. No, you could have the ones that you don't want. And so, you know what I mean? Like, we know you can get in a relationship. We know you can have a boyfriend. You can have the ones that you don't want. But that cockiness that she instituted, I said, that's why I said, don't underestimate her, bro. Do not underestimate. Jay says she's gay. Maybe, I don't know. You know, don't underestimate her. And she's also a pleaser in the bedroom as well. Okay? Interesting. Okay, so let me move on to Alex and Madison as well. So Alex and Madison as well. Okay, let's go to Alex and Madison because boy oh boy, this is also another matchup which was interesting. And I think Madison's got two men that she's interested in, right? Madison's got both Alex and also, I believe, she has Mason that she's connected with as well. So it's going to be interesting that she's 27, Alex 28, Mason 32. And Mason's a cinematographer, whereas Alex is involved with... I don't know what he's involved in, to be honest. I don't know. But their connection was interesting. So I'm going to play a little bit of a clip so you can actually see it, and then we'll talk about it as well. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is Alex and Madison, right? Now, Madison's a really interesting person because her background. She let us know instantly that, you know what, she comes from a particular background where her mother was on drugs. Immediately as I hear that, I just hear FA, fearful avoidant, fearful avoidant, fearful avoidant. I just start hearing fearful avoidant. So as soon as I heard that, she grew up in India, learned Arabic. I mean, she's well versed. I can't even lie to you. I was really impressed. Well versed and everything. So her conversation with Alex was very emotional, not in a bad way, but rather it was very healthy in an emotional sense for now. Like the way they were talking and the way that he was able to hold space for her. She didn't share as much details, or at least the show didn't show us that, as much details with Alex in terms of the depth of maybe the trauma as she did with Mason. But what she's looking for, it seems that she's looking for somebody who she can rely upon. And I said, I don't think that's Alex. I feel like Alex wants somebody to be on a par with him. And I don't see the masculinity that she's going to be looking for that's going to provide the safety. I don't know if she's clocked what that looks like just yet. So that's me judging, but I don't know 100%. I don't know if Madison has clocked that masculinity is not the rah-rah, it's not the full-on energy, but the emotional strength of somebody is as important as physical strength. Now, when she was talking with Alex, Alex is somebody who, he said he was a nerd, he had braces on, he had acne at a time. You know, in high school, girls laughed at him, but now he's obviously glowed up, he says. And he wants a kind person. She wants a kind person. And, you know, he failed high school and disappointed his family and got kicked out, right? So he had to figure it out. He's learned how to figure it out because he had to. He had no choice, got kicked out. And so for him, he's a very inclusive person. He wants to include people. When he's in a group, he likes to include people. He wants to make sure nobody's left out because that happened to him, right? So we hear that the way of the trauma and how it plays a role, okay? But with Madison, like I said, she has moved around a bit. She has taught English. She likes kind people. You know, she lost her stepdad in the 8th grade, but her dad's very distant from her as well. She doesn't really talk to her dad, doesn't really talk to her mum either, right? And then she lost her brother, I believe, in 2018 too. All right. So she's lost quite a few people. She was very close to her brother. I think she lost her brother. So she's lost a lot of people. So for her, family, someone else having a family is very important. And I've heard it before. People that come from very bad backgrounds want people that have very good family backgrounds because they don't have that. The question is, can you cope in that good background? Can you be okay in another person's family when they are actually a good unit? Are you going to be okay? Now, Alex doesn't necessarily have that. But Mason does. Mason has the good family background where he's secure in that family. And at least what he said was he's very close to his nieces. Right? Now, both Alex and Mason are actually quite open about their emotions and feelings. You know, Mason literally said, I love, he said, I love that, you can cry and everything like that. He said it's cool. He was very emotionally intelligent, it seems like. But we know, obviously, he's a cinematographer. He grew up on skating, and they're both creatives. So immediately I said, oh, this is a chemistry thing because they're both creatives. This is going to be interesting to see how it's going to play out because both of them like the same thing. It's going to be very, very interesting. I said, oof. It's going to be tight to see what happens next for them as well in the relationship as well. Okay, so they were both, Mason and Madison were also Packers as well. They're Packers fans. Again, another green flag for them too. I'll play a bit more of the clips so you can see who they are. Hold on. Let me get to who, so you can see Mason a little bit as well. This is Mason, baby. Now, Mason's giving me all types of Tobey Maguire right now, okay? All right? He's giving Spider-Man. Let's be honest, he's giving Spider-Man right now, and I'm not mad at it. He's a very confident person. I love his energy. He's very confident. You look at him a little bit, he's a bit like he's got a bit of a nerd look, but very, very confident. I love his energy and his vibe as well. And he seemed to make... Where I saw Alex making her in an emotional space, it seemed like Mason kind of drew her out of that space. And not like he was trying to... And she actually shared a lot more, it seemed like, emotionally with Mason, even though Alex was seemingly the one that was having more of the emotional conversation. And I think that's because maybe she saw a little bit of strength from Mason emotionally that made her feel more safe early on. Because I think she's felt safe with Alex. But you know when like you find someone who has strength emotionally, people tend to share with those people. You know, if you've ever been an emotional rock for somebody in your family, the reason why they dump on you is because they feel like you're strong. They feel like you can hold their information. And I felt like she felt like Mason could be the one that could hold her story. And so we got a lot more of her story with Mason. And he has, like I said, he has a family unit. He showed appreciation when she shared. He said, thank you for sharing. He emotionally encouraged her, encouraged her to kind of share more. I loved it. I said, this is proper. Now, Mason, though, has a connection with Meg. Now, listen, Meg is a mother freaking whirlwind. Okay? Shout out to Meg, but she is a talker. I'm going to be honest with you. Shout out to Meg, but she is a talker. This is Meg. Now, Mason's energy just seems so different with Meg than it is with Madison. It seems like he really likes Meg. But it's interesting because I don't feel like Meg holds space for him. I think they have similar common interests. For instance, the conspiracy theories that they both like. But when I listen to Meg, Meg talks a lot. And she hardly gives him space to talk. Okay, now she's obviously got a flight attendant voice that she said she got on, that little sexy voice she can put on. She comes from a Christian background, but she's not Christian. She has no faith. For her, it's all about higher powers and spiritual beings. They love talking about aliens. Okay, they're both into those conspiracies. And so I do see some connection there, but what I saw was her not really holding any space for him. Whereas with Mason and Madison, it seemed like there was more balance. But I feel like he really was intrigued by Meg. And it's like he wanted to chase Meg. And I said, okay, well, there's something deeper here for Mason. There's something attractive about Meg and the way that she operates that you like. And I need to dive a little bit deeper into the, other episodes to really find out. But for me, when I heard Meg, I said, oh, Meg ain't even letting him speak. Is Meg aware? Is she self-aware? Is she conscious? You know, Mason might go after her and regret it if he ends up choosing her over Madison for now. as far as episode 1 is going on, you know? So listen, I'm not going to make no predictions. I'm only in episode 1. I'm loving where the show is going so far. I think it's a really healthy dialogue and conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do episode 2, and I might do it, but just before I need to go and watch this Civil War film. So I might do it one before we go if I get enough time to do so. But listen, if you're loving Love is Blind, if you're just about watching it, listen, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button, comment down below your thoughts, your immediate thoughts that you had of each couple as well, okay? We appreciate you. So make sure you stay locked, stay loaded. We're going to see you again soon. Much love and much appreciation. We'll see you again soon.